We're going to be working a little bit on our Twitch integrations again today. I got to figure out what I still want to do. You know what I want to do? I want to create an API endpoint in our server here that will actually serve the song queue in like a serializable format because then we could potentially serve like a little widget as well for the stream. I gotta check platform readme for something. I wonder if I can actually just do this. To be implementing a server. You know what? I actually want to see how we're serving Swagger when we add it. Or even better, actually, Scalar. Yeah, here we go. I basically just want to send like raw HTML on that we has all the logic built in. I want to basically send like raw HTML down to the client that has all the logic built in to query my server and get the song queue and like just render a widget. Oh, let's build the API endpoint for the phone queue first. So we could probably use some stuff from the Twitch one. Import. What's up? How's it going? Okay. So what we want here, Word class Spotify API stones HTTP API is group.name Spotify. I'm gonna add an endpoint and close this class. Dylan just finished up streaming too. Cool. Nice. Welcome, everybody. We are working on our Twitch integrations again, and my goal now is to be able to have a little widget on the screen like Dylan does that shows the song that's currently playing as well as the queue itself, like what's up next, kind of like what his does. But I want to take a different approach, and I literally want to have an HTTP API endpoint on the server that can be queried for the song queue, which I think he does have. But what I want to like send to render the widget is literally just like a raw HTML blob. So like I want to be able to query my server to get this like raw HTML blob that just has like the widget. So we're going to see if that works. But first we need the endpoint that gives me the song queue. Post. Song queue. And actually, this is just where we get. Had success. The success. The success, I'm not exactly sure what I want it to be yet. I think look who is here. Hey there, Mac. What's up, Mattia? Just realized the Effect.ts merge store only allows you to buy one thing at a time. Would you mind like popping that in Discord somewhere and tag? You don't have to tag me, Ella, but she'll see. She manages the merch store. So this, I mean, should only ever succeed. And we're gonna have a schema. Actually, I kind of only want to send like the current and the next song. Well, if we can give V0 to do something. Easier. Oh, what do we do? Create widget, which I can use my Twitch stream. The widget is the purpose of the widget will be to display the current song playing my in my Spotify queue every, I don't know, 3 seconds. The song the next song then here Spotify will show. Do this every 5 seconds. The requirements only use query a pretend API at HTTPS my API followed by Q to get the JSON representing the parent. So containing is any frameworks or libraries, only plain HTML, CSS, and JS. Have to figure out how to. Maybe that's why Dylan persists the song queue, because he wants to know like who requested it. And we'll see if we want to add that in, but how's it going, everybody? Hello. Job interview stuff? That's stressful. Dylan, have me joining Vercel again as well. If you persist in it, then I want to see privacy policy for some preference data being in. Yeah. I've been trying to come up with a universal solution to dead code elimination in consumer code bases without them needing to add pure annotations. My brain is fried. Sebastian, you were just the best, Jen. So this doesn't work. Well, then you provide mock data from the API. In the example, so that I can see the code preview. Also use cat Kai. For the last year, he's been asking. I thought he gets a commission, but apparently he doesn't. We'll look at the merch right thing now. All three. You guys can request songs just like you do on Dylan's stream. That's the whole point of these Twitch integrations. So feel. I mean, I know I've said this like every stream, but I feel like I need to remind folks. Like how it's spending so much time rendering this Spotify logo SVG. Let the Discoteca Italiano commence. Okay. Oh God, Lucia's in on the action now. Yeah, I mean, I think for what I'm doing, I don't really care. I mean, eventually we could add in support for showing like, who requested a song, but I feel like, oh wow, this really is Discoteca Italiano. My daughter loves Bella Ciao. Like every time it comes on, she drops whatever she's doing and she goes insane. She loves that song. Uh, so why does this not work? Fix the damn preview. Yeah. See anything. Sebastian, to request the song, you gotta click the channel points button and hit song request, then paste the link in. You're absolutely right. When are they gonna get the AI models to stop doing this? Clearly, this just doesn't want to show. But we can take this. Uh, that copy. Uh, and awaken. This is what it looks like. Not too bad. Gonna make adjustments to it, but this is a good thing. After a full day of trying, I'm pretty convinced we'll just have to do it manually across all public module exports. Manually, huh? Mattia, is this the song where it's the Italian guy who just created a song that, like, he just thought this is what English people sounded like? Or people speaking English sounded like? Yeah, this is so good. Oh my God. All right. So let's actually open up that test.html file and see what this mock data looks like. Mock data. Yeah, I think we'll do something like this. We'll return like the first 5 songs. So let's do class export class current track fluid track. Name. What's up? How's it going? The album name where that song is in. Yeah, this song is so good. Uh, next. Or sorry, we'll do next. He went out array. Okay. So this will be the API. We'll keep it super simple. And then we'll go steal the dot add spot to API. Okay. And we'll go steal this from the Twitch side of things. Okay. And just want to see. Yeah. So Spotify client equals you and Spotify client. Why did my music just stop playing? Oh, I'm getting a phone call from my wife. Let me. Wish one thing for my wife. Um, Sorry, folks. Just give me 1 second. Oh, man. Sorry, folks. Let's do one more. One more minute. And can't find what my wife needs. Okay. Sorry about that, folks. Hit the ad roll right after the back to the party. Sorry. Sorry, the pre-roll ads are rough sometimes. Handlers dot handle solve here. That function on need freeze functions. Okay. In near request. We might need that. I actually don't think we're going to. What we want is to replicate the logic. Actually, we could probably, instead of doing this, do well, if I song queue. Don't worry, Sebastian. I found it. I could really go for a cornetto right about now. I can always go for a cornetto. Alrighty. Great. So I think I can replicate the logic that I have, or at least partially the logic that I have in services, chat macros. I wonder if this. Oh, good song. And if you don't want to be in depression music territory, request more songs. All right. So let's open this up to the side. And actually, we don't need this pane anymore. We can do HTTP. So, we'll get the queue, and then we'll get the tracks, the next 5 tracks. Why is it? Oh, we have an important array. And then we can try to get this into the shape that we need. So let's do this. Anazer and the Crebe, thank you very much for the follow. Really appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much. It really does mean a lot. Um, yeah, thank you very much. I hope you're enjoying the stream. Is this any now? Gotta import pipe. So now we need to make a new track. I don't really want to validate this or disable station. Name is going to be track dot name art track dot artists. This in a second. We're using blank or comp for completion menu shit. Blank right now. Yeah, blank for the moment. All right, so let's go back to the API. We'll make this artists, and this will be an array. Schema dot array. An album will be schema dot struct main artwork. Does the RPC2 web handler manage the runtime under the hood and ensure all finalizers are executed on completion? I think so. We can look. It is. Yes. Given that it accepts a memo map, I'm going to assume that, oh no, it doesn't. You need to manually dispose it looks like. Yeah, you get back a handler and you get back a dispose method. So use the handler, and then I guess when you're done, you dispose it. After watching some Dylan and finding out about Effect, I'm sold on this, especially as a Golang fan. What resources should I look at to learn more? Just the documentation, or are there any good talks, workshops available? Documentation is going to be a great place to start. On our YouTube channel. So I don't know which browser I'm in right now, but the YouTube channel that we have, where's the Effect? Effect TS YouTube channel. Here. So our YouTube is pretty great. We put out some content regularly. All the talks from the last conference are there, and my half of the workshop that we did there is public now, as well as Tim's half of the workshop. Mine was focused on like architecting apps around services, and his was focused around uh, like incremental adoption using services. What else? Ethan has some really good YouTube content. So if you search for Ethan Miser, he's got some really good YouTube content. I think his video is actually still featured on our website. What else? There's a lot of community resources out there, and I'm sure more content will be getting produced. But I think the docs are a pretty good. I thought you called me then. Sorry, Ethan. I think that the docs are a great place to start. But if you're more like of a video content person, then you could take a look at our YouTube. Dylan's working on a guide too. Yeah, Dylan is working on a guide. Paul Phillip, I believe, has effect patterns. So this repo is kind of cool. It has like a bunch of stuff that's ingestible by LLMs. So if you want like rules and things like that, could help too. Oh, whoops. I'll paste this in here. So this should be an array of tracks. And now we can return HTTP server response dot schema JSON. It's just return JSON. Current. Next is going to be tracks. Life's one. System effect. It is. And we'll just use schema JSON. You need to grab the schema from here, which means we need to, we'll call this Spotify song queue response. Or maybe just song queue response. Okay. Now we can take this and lift it up here, const song queue JSON, or maybe encode song queue. So HTTP body error is not assignable to type HTTP API decoder. Okay. That is lovely. I'm working on migrating my workflow to revolve around a more sophisticated Claude code setup that will be useful. Great stuff on the DX and onboarding resources. Then thank you. We're keep it continuing to work on it, but more content keeps coming out, which I think helps. My little project has been quite fun to implement. In effect, working with CI/CD and Docker containers, cursor is lackluster when it comes to figuring out effective code. That LLM file will help. Yeah, for sure. Images. See, this is going to be a mess for a minute, but I just want to figure out the structure that we're going to return. Track.album. Name. Track.album. Name. Track.album. Images. That was pretty. Thank you very much for the follow. Thanks, GGDev. Really appreciate it. I hope you're enjoying the stream. Sebastian, you're relentless. How is everybody liking Max's streamer name? I kept reading it was Min Bad Blue. Sebastian came up with that one. It is actually I think actually, did I put it in my bio? I can't remember. It's the antonym to my actual name. The antonym to every syllable in my name, I should say. Or a general antonym. All right. This is a mess, but I want to get to something that we can test out. This is the Spotify HTTP layer. And we're going to layer.provide the song review Spotify song request default layer. Oh no, we wanted, darn it. Spotify song queue. So this should give us back. Yeah, this should give us back an API group for Spotify. And now we can go over here. Spotify. Spotify HTTP layer. And now we should have all our dependencies satisfied. So we should be able to fly deploy this. Radonovich, hello. Welcome. Mine would be Mona Ravendo Functors. So just I'm gonna run to the restroom really quick while this deploys, folks. Did my music pause when I took my headphone off? Sorry. All right. With that, we should be able to HPS, Man Blue, Twitch integration, Spotify song queue. And if I go here, cool. I'm unsure if we should call in dispose on the RPC, your web handler if we're running this. It depends. I guess it depends on whether the server's long lived or not. Like if you're spinning up lambdas, it's a harder question to answer. Somewhere my B2B SaaS belong. By the way, I very quietly released a super alpha version of our Amazon Bedrock AI provider today. So this is out now. I missed the LinkedIn part comment. Oh, my bad. Yeah, so this is available if anybody wants to test it out. Thoughts on Bedrock? I don't know. I mean, you were working on that on stream yesterday? Yes. I ran into a problem with like tool calls where I was having an issue with the tool calls like wouldn't what's it called? Like if I tried to can just show you guys. Let me open up another terminal. Fact. So if right here, where are we? Yeah, so we've been doing initial like generation with a set of tools, and I would take the response, and if the response was if the response from the model is that it's calling tools, I would pass the result of the tools calls back in the subsequent prompt. This works for like the vast majority of providers without calling the toolkit a second time, but for some reason Bedrock requires you to pass the actual tool definitions every single time. So, anyways, that's annoying. But usually, like for OpenAI, you wouldn't need this. You could just pass the response that contains like the resolved tool calls, because Effect will auto resolve the tool calls for you. But for Bedrock, you have to pass it through a second time. Moving through, knife through buttock. 10 more gains. That's your problems. Okay, so this is fine. So we can actually test this out already. If we go to our test HTML, where was it? Here. We go to wherever the custom HTML element is. We change this to, well, time to update my Twitter. Yeah, that's how I felt when Sebastian told me about this handle. So I decided the easiest place to test it out would be Twitch. So here we are, testing it out on Twitch. Magaz, thank you very much for the follow. Appreciate that very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. I hope you're enjoying the stream. Okie dokie. So, in production, uncomment this to fetch real data every 30 seconds. We're going to do this a lot faster, but let's not use mock data. What does start rotation do? This.songs.length. This.show songs. All right, so we fetch the API URL, we get a response. We get the JSON, we process the QJSON. We'll look at this in a second. Canvas. This.elements.song title.text content equals song.name. That's fine. Song.artist. What is the API structure again? Song.artists.join. We'll just do a comment thingy. Song.status. Yeah. If song.album. Okay, so we can make artwork undefined, potentially undefined. If song.album. Song.album.artwork. Not. All right. So let's my little widget here. Found the little resource, file not found. But isn't that next to this log data? I've commented this out. Might be worth adding maybe a limit on how many songs a user can add in X amount of time. Yeah, I was going to do that, except for I don't think I have enough viewers for it to matter at the moment. So I feel like I'd rather you guys be listening to music that you want to listen to. So that's why I haven't put a limit on it. I can, through Twitch, I can set like a limit, but for now, it just didn't seem worth it. X Raiden X, what's up? How's it going? What are you up to? Let's do this every 5 seconds. API URL. This is cool. So the goal will be to like literally just raw HTML from the server. And I'm trying to make this as like simple as possible. I don't want any like frameworks or anything like that to have to deal with. I just want to be able to see what's like basically show on screen what's playing in an overlay. Oh, what plugin am I using for these and these things? These little lines. I forget. Next spin. Uh, can plugins. I think it's maybe. Um, snacks maybe. Yes, snacks configured. A little bit of custom stuff. And I do my neovim config through Nix, but the configs should be like pretty translatable to Lua. Since under the hood, like that's Nixvim ends up translating everything to Lua anyways. So I mean, there's a few problems with like how we're doing this right now. Namely, because it's querying the server every 5 seconds, we get this like choppy behavior. It's gonna re-render itself. It's like choppy behavior. Could fix this, but I think this is like a good start. And we can make one additional improvement. Uh, well, we're gonna set song album. We're gonna start elements. Gonna start elements. Okay. So in here, in this element stuff, song album text content equals song album dot or what we need to do. Cool. So, the markup that we have here, it's all under song info, right? So song info. Flex one. So if I want to screw around with this, um, add in the album name, uh, with with a less parent text color. We're back to API tokens, a tedious survey. It's a cool blog. I guess B0's done. Look at the diff. Let's copy this in. Oh, oops. Exact same thing. And then I'm going to zoom. Yep. Song album, song album. Yep. Okay. What it looks like. Yeah, it's flipping back and forth now, which is not great. Also, ideally, the markup is like this is fine down here. Song info. Uh, display flare. Square direction. Oh, gap. I don't know. Cool. Well, this whole thing is wrapped in a song info. Psst, rid of that. This is closer to what I wanted. Let me get rid of the muff data thing. Oop. We need to just adjust the styles a bit. So for the song album, so this margin can go on the song info thing. Should already help. to get rid of the margin on the bottom of this. Get a bigger gap. And then we just gotta figure out how to move this thing down. Oh man, I do not like front end stuff. Isn't there like a text align thing? Text align. No, that's left to right. I don't want how do I make this text not look like they're on different levels? Do I need to just up the font size on this? Let's try that. I mean, this is pretty good. I don't think it needs the parens fully. I feel like this is pretty good. Aside from the broken, like changing me, not too bad. DJ Malaboy, hello. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. And what are you building today? I don't think you're aiming for 100 points across life. No, I'm not. I'm just aiming for something that doesn't look terrible. DJ Malaboy, what are we building today? We're working on Twitch integrations for my stream using Effect TS. But of course, right now I'm struggling to build a little widget to show like what's playing on my stream. So one of the Twitch integrations we have is if you click at the bottom of your chat, the channel points thing, you can request a song to be added to my Spotify queue. So you paste the Spotify link and it goes straight into my Spotify queue. It's not my idea. It's actually Dylan Mulroy, who's another also does a lot of streaming with Effect. Has a similar setup, but I wanted to build it in a different. So, anyways, the whole back end is written with Effect here. Twitch integrations. These are Dylan's integrations, but I have mine. Okay, that did not work. Okay. So what we're working on right now, we have the back end in a reasonably good state. What we're working on now is taking this like JSON I'm getting from my back end and trying to like create a little widget that I can show on stream on my OBS overlay. But yeah, just trying to see if we can get something like that working. So touch the queue, process the queue data, process the queue data. Show song. I feel like this is also creating a shitload of timeouts that I'm never cleaning up. But um, is all of this required? So that works. I think I just need to keep track of where. I think in here I just need to keep track of which song I'm currently showing and like basically fetch the cue. Yeah, I think if I change the design of this to fetch the cue every 5 seconds and then pass it to some render method. Um, or maybe like set the state of the cue like in the class and keep track of it that way. Then I can paginate through it myself. Because right now, like timeouts are like a little bit hard to coordinate here. But I'm already kind of happy that I think instead of showing the album like that, I'm going to go back to uh, column. Yeah, this is better. It's the worst that I could say. The only other thing I want to try to do is take this little Spotify icon and move it into the header because this can shrink the whole entire size of the widget. So we'll do um, this will be Spotify logo. And we'll literally just take this and pop it in there. Get rid of this. And then we'll take the song title. Also put it in here. And then we can get rid of. I think now we just have to adjust styles. So this div here is going to be song header. Uh, So display lights, flex direction. I know row is the default, but I like to be explicit sometimes. And then justify content space between, I think. Oh, it's this header that I want. Interesting. I feel like this is right. Yeah, this is the song title. Spotify logo. I don't think that's required. Now the full widget container. We can get rid of all this padding, I think. Give it a little bit. Like 4 pixels. Okay. Well, what is giving this thing all of this? Okay, if I take that away, then what is giving it? It's that. Padding. 12 pixels. It's pretty good. So padding 12 is fine. We'll get rid of the height here. Cool. I'll have to fix the logic, but I think it looks pretty good. So the ideal would be to like send this straight from the server, but one thing I kind of want to do is just feed this into Claude. Take the following raw HTML, which renders a custom Spotify song preview for my screen. Widget. Because I'm not good. I hate everything front end. I'm not good at it, but I can get by. Take the following algebra and optimize it, removing unnecessary CSS rules, code, etc. In addition, fix the logic in the um, fix the logic for changing for periodically touching and displaying something the queue at the moment it is completely broken. Also make sure timers are geared necessary. Let's see what Claude comes up with. I hate everything equally. It's dark, Ethan. Uh, I actually really enjoy programming through the back end. I find it relaxing. Front end is just, I don't know. Everything feels not good. But having said that, the most enjoyment I've had programming for the front end was building Effects website's playground. So if you go to like Effect website and you go to the playground here, building this playground, while it was like super frustrating to get like Monaco editor and this terminal and everything and the trace viewer and everything like that working in the browser, it was actually fun to build with EffectRx, which is a library that Tim is working on. Still like super alpha, still like whatever, but we try to dog food stuff as much as we can. And EffectRx makes programming with Effect on the front end like very easy. And the it's definitely like something to get used to. But Tim is already starting to like at least create a bit of documentation on how to use EffectRx. And especially in 4.0, when the bundle size of Effect is shrinking to like virtually nothing, I think this will become a lot more of an interesting proposal. But Dylan always told me that he hates the name of RX, like because it's very easy to mix this up with like RxJS. So like the whole point of this is like reactive effect for the front end. But Dylan was telling me that like this is like super confusing. So, and I see his point. So, add a flag to use, mod data in development. Then use the mock data for the rendered video. Front end is trying to read tailwind and making one change that's messing up the entire component. Yeah, I feel that. Yeah, I am scared to update Effects website to the latest distro that uses Tailwind 4 because I know it's going to take me hours of like sifting through the playground code, finding the classes that I need to change, making sure everything looks correct. Like we don't have any tests for the playground either. Like I built it very quickly and we shipped it, so that it would be like useful for folks. But yeah, this looks pretty good. Test and prod, then nice. That's the way, man. That is the way. Well, Let's try this out. Let's copy this. Let's, this is old, and let's create a new test.html. Uh, and let's set this to false. Go back here. Render. Actually, I don't think we need to render the background of the widget, really. Like, this is just going to be, where the hell are we? I think there's a flicker. There is currently 88% humidity. Wow. It's actually not too bad in New Jersey right now. It's pretty comfortable outside. I was outside all day yesterday working in the yard, which is why my arms, I don't know if you guys can see, look like took them through. You really probably can't see on stream, but they're all covered in like rose bush scratches and whatnot. But it was really nice out yesterday. We took my daughter. We actually got my daughter this little like play pool. She was having so much fun, like just hanging out in the water while I was working in the garden, and my wife was just hanging out back. So it's really nice. There's currently a flicker. Add logic to so that when the queue is fetched, if the current song has not changed, nothing is done. Also fix the flicker. Oh, wait, I can see the time when you're ready, Brenner. Oh, you thought I was in Italy as well? Nope. I am the only US based employee of Effectful Technologies. We, for engineers, we've got me, 3 Italians, and 1 New Zealander. There are a few other employees, but as far as engineers are concerned, that's our spread. I mean, it could quality beautiful. Uh, yeah, I mean, I've seen some of the like I coded their stuff, um, in emoji terms. Precisely. Although living in North Jersey is basically like living in Italy. I'm joking, but like there are a lot of Italians out here. Okie dokie. Let's copy this in. Do it one more time. I don't know if I actually copied anything. All right, I got it. Let's see how this looks. Right now, I'm working on 3JS with TSL, and it's All right, so this looks pretty darn good. I'm pretty happy with this. The only things I want to change are so I don't like this whole like queue thing. So we're gonna do up next. Let's see what this looks like. By the end of the summer, Ethan, we're working on it. But Mike has sort of like unofficially guaranteed that it's going to be out by the end of the summer, even though like never a guarantee. Like if there's still work to be done, we're not just going to release it. But our goal is to get Effect 4 out by the end of the summer. Yeah. Mitchell Armani better keep his promise. I'll let him know you said that. Be like, my folks are making threats against you know. I've never deployed with Fly before. How's the uptime? Do they scale well? Have any firewall offerings, or do you front with Cloudflare? I love Fly. They're great. Uh, do they scale well? Yes, extremely well. Their DX is very good. I like the way that they have their APIs organized. I really like. I'll come over and put ketchup on a pizza with mozzarella. No, put a pineapple on pizza and bring it to Mike. You see how far you get. Do they have any firewall offerings? I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not using any, but if I come to Effect Days, I'll offer him a slice. Pineapple pizza. Yeah. It sounds like something Sebastian would do. This is pretty good. I like this. Mr. Mitchell Armani, where's Effect 5? It's funny, you know, after Effect 4, I think we're actually going to mm, start a long-term release schedule for Effect. I think we might do like an LTS thing. Because like with Effect 4, like with Effect 3, we always knew there were still improvements we could make, but we were pretty happy with the way the API turned out. But with Effect 4, like we've shrunk the API surface down so much. Not the surface, but like the internals. So like the bundle size is super small and lean. It's much faster. Like we're not really sure how we can, I mean, there's always going to be ways we can improve, but I think with Effect 4, it's going to be the incremental improvements won't be as great. At least that's my prediction, but I could be like 100% wrong. Start to see what's in the pipeline for the next Effect Days. Yeah, I mean, who knows? We haven't even, I mean, Mirel is always planning, but we've got a lot going on before the next Effect Days. Please host it in Europe. No guarantees. No guarantees. They've all been in Europe so far. The two that we've done have been in, but yeah, we host where it makes sense. Pull a Windows and be like, we don't have a Windows 9 and we've gone to Windows 10 because it's so advanced. We don't have an Effect 5. No, it's gonna be like effect, effect next or Effect X. So I feel like this is pretty good. Uh, I need to figure out how to render a widget on OBS. OBS render widget. See what option I have here. OBS. Let's see how we can create our overlay widget thingy. Maybe I can just figure this out in the widget. Oh god. It like literally turns off my screen. Okay. Guess I'll have to figure it out off stream, folks. But let's actually see if we can now take this. So this is here. We're going to go to source, Spotify. I don't know where this is going to end up. Let's go into the machine and take a look at what actually ends up in here. Oh, I think I just bundle everything into a main. Yeah. So how do I do this? TS up. TS up, copy a file. Oh, cool. Let's do this. So let's have a source static. This needs to be a directory. Let's take this. Widget. Spotify widget. And then apparently, so we'll delete the allegedly in here, there's a public dir. Copy the files inside public dir to the output directory. Great. Source static. So if I build, cool. So then here, I can just do Spotify, HTTP. Then we'll look at platform, source, so scalar. Yes, I think I can do handle, and this is going to be a widget. Const fs equals yield. So we can just put this up here. File system. Here, actually, we can cache it since it's never going to change, right? Widget, HTML, fs.read, read file string, Spotify, widget, the HTML. And maybe what we can do here instead is const widget file name equals yield config dot string Spotify widget file and wipe config dot with defaults Spotify widget. And then we can just do widget file name ptr fate, and we'll do we'll just die if it can't read the file. Do you guys use symbol.forward with type IDs to create nominal types? It's not really like nominal per se. It's to keep the type unique, meaning that we have a stable way to create type guards and a stable way to prevent folks from implementing that interface without like specifically saying, yes, this is like a XYZ type. So because TypeScript's structural, like for certain types, if you just have the correct structure in there, like if you pass some object that has the same structure as like an effect to something that expects an effect, that would be valid. But if it has the effect symbol there and you haven't put this symbol on that object, it'll fail. So that's why we use symbols. And we use symbols so that they don't show up because they're not enumerable. But we're sort of considering maybe not using symbols for 4.0. We are currently, but we're thinking about potentially just using like the tilde pattern that standard schema used, because we've run into issues with symbols in a variety of circumstances for folks. I'll show you. Standard streamer. This little tilde thing. It forces these properties to be like the very last thing in TypeScript's autocomplete. So if you look at like the effect for repo, and then you look at Julio's implementation of schema, the type ID is still here, but a lot of the other properties that we're using, for example, for phantom types, he's just putting on like a tilde property. which again forces it all the way to the bottom of the TypeScript autocomplete. So this should fetch the HTML for us. No, if those properties are not there, they are considered in structural typing. That's why standard schema uses it, so that like they're considered, just like symbols are. Anything on the type is going to be considered. But the tilde just gets rid of issues with the tilde property just gets rid of some issues that you might have with what's it called? Symbols being imported from other packages. And we've seen like weird TypeScript bugs not being able to properly import symbols and things like that. So Big Sexy, hello. Welcome to the stream. So here, I think we're actually just going to return HTML server response .html widget HTML. And now we need to go over here and add another endpoint. Song widget. Uh, what does this return? Just server response. Okay. Column status. They show up at the bottom of autocomplete, and so they're like deprioritized. Same thing with like deprecated. Deprecated will also show up like at the bottom of autocomplete, I'm pretty sure. Okay. If I did this right. Now what we could do also is we could take this and we could set it in our fly.toml. Spotify song Q widget.html. Static. And then so if we did this right, Spotify song widget. Okay. A such file or directory. Rate limit exceeded. That's interesting. Fly. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get on the machine. I don't think I am. All right. So this is going to copy it over to the dist directory, which means that I am not reading it from here. Up one, static. But in fly, I'm actually reading it from a dist Spotify song queue widget, I think. Let's try that. Brandon T. Roberts, thank you very much for the follow. Really appreciate that. I hope you're enjoying the stream. Gonna have to wrap up soon. But I really want to get this working before we wrap up. There we go. Why is it so long? Because TypeScript's playground thingy, base64 encodes the entire code string that you give it. Our website has the ability to do that, but our website actually has like a little URL shortener built in, which is why our URLs can be so short. Cool. This is great. So I guess I'll just figure out a way to show this on OBS. And maybe a chat like widget as well would be good. So you guys can see chat. Interesting. So you'd have to do X value to access it. So structurally, is it different to the other type? Let me pull this up so I can see what you're talking about. Sorry. Get rid of all of this. Yeah, these are structurally different types because the property here is tilde value and the property here is value, right? So they're totally different types. Because the property key here is like this is equivalent, right? So this is the same thing as what we had before. So I mean, if you just consider it like this, these are two distinct types. Does that make sense, Ethan? The only reason to put the tilde in front of the property name, I guess, if you guys knew about the tilde pattern, you'd have used that before. No, I mean, like we knew that you could deprioritize things in autocomplete. Like that's the only reason to do this tilde thing. That's the only reason. The reason we used symbols is to make property not enumerable, I think, and also to have a like stable, like something you'd have to import from effect to make it a valid effect. Do you know what I mean? Like, it also makes it much harder to have type guards that can be like hacked around because like if you have a type symbol dot for app type ID type AB link. But we don't need the type actually. Const is the type. Q is okay. So if we say use the type, there's a bunch of reasons why we did this, right? But one of them is this: returning type of u equals object and u not equal to null and type ID in u. It's much harder to fake this guard. Like if you had a structural type here, it's easy to fake the guard. With the type ID, you actually have to like import this type ID and assign it to whatever object you're working with. The Italiano XX, hello. How goes it? There are a bunch of reasons, Ethan, why we use type IDs in the earlier versions of Effect. But we're, like I said, we're sort of reconsidering the symbols because we run into weird TypeScript issues. Oh, Christian. Yeah, of course I recall. How's it going? Yeah. So there are a bunch of reasons why. But oh gosh, we're sort of reconsidering it. I forget if these are enumerable. Let me just check. Um, there. But anyways, we also used it for types to store phantom types. So if we had like phantom types we wanted to store covariant or variant, like whatever, we would do that here. Yeah, what Matthias said, the DTS generation fails if it can't name that symbol, which it sometimes has a lot of trouble doing. I mean, listen, we don't lose a lot by changing what we're doing to something else, as long as we can keep the types somewhat unique. But symbols are nice because they're totally unique. You can declare a symbol as like completely unique, and that's what's nice, is it makes the type unique when you do it like this. With a tilde, like, you know, that is, this can theoretically be created out from outside of Effect, but there's compromises that you have to make. So, and the compromise that we're dealing with here is that like sometimes the DTS generation is not working too good for type IDs. So, all right. So, all of this because TypeScript doesn't have nominal types. Well, listen, there are significant benefits to a structural type system from the perspective of like you can having a structural type system allows TypeScript to do a lot of the cool stuff that it does. But it would be nice if there was a way to make types nominal through TypeScript instead of having to hack through it with like branded types and whatnot. Let's find somebody to read. Listen, guys, I hope you guys have a good rest of your Monday. Cheers, everybody. And I'll see you guys later.